What's going on, family? We are back with another episode of Fact Friday. It's going to be a little bit different today because the last couple days I was actually in the hospital and had to go there because of rhabdo and hypophosphatemia. So I think that's what it's called. Anyways, I was in there for a couple days. I'm out now, so I won't be able to do anything in the gym today. But I want to do a little throwback to when I actually won the Washington State Championship for my pro men's physique. Second show ever in the pro class, and kind of connect things today. And this is something that I have been getting requested quite frequently, more so on my Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, look up at patty.lifts there. So Fact Friday, if you guys are new to the channel, it's where I answer your questions every single Friday. I take my expertise as a full-time online fitness coach, as a pro physique athlete, and connect the science to the practicality of things so you guys can implement them into your personal fitness journey. So let's get into it, and it's a question by the Andrew Dan. You should do a video on ab training frequency and talk about some of your ab training. There's a lot of debate when I research ab frequency. Some guys swear they don't need time to recover and you can work them practically every day. Some claim that they are like any other muscle and need a good 48 hours of rest. These Fact Fridays are bomb, keep them up. So thank you very much to everyone who asked questions. I will be looking back at other videos, so keep asking them, and yours could be featured in a future video. All you have to do is comment in the comment section below, and yours could be featured. So let's get into the topic of the video, and this is ab training. As a pro men's physique athlete, it's really important for me to work on my abs. It is one of the main things that I have to showcase on stage, so I do want to pay close attention to them. With this said, they are still muscles, so they do actually need to recover, to answer this question in short. The thing about abs I see very commonly, the people that do them every day, they don't damage them enough significantly that you do need to take rest, or they might only do one exercise or not do that much volume, where an example is if you did like a full chest day and did the same amount of volume with abs, like 7 exercises of abs, you will need that rest. So they're just like any other muscle group in the body, so you do need to have that recovery depending on how you hit them. So personally, I like to hit them 2 to 3 times per week, depending on each person. Each person, you might have to work your way up. So starting off at 1 times per week might be good until you can start to get used to the volume, and then amp it up to 2 to 3 times per week, especially if it's something that you do want to prioritize. Let's break down the function and the anatomy of the abs. So the main part of the abs is the rectus abdominis, and that is the main thing that you see. So it's almost like the turtle shell. I'll throw up some clips there of me competing so you guys can see it, and then your obliques, which are on the side here. Those are the main parts that you actually visually see within those muscle groups. So your abs have a couple different functions, and the main one is actually flexion of the torso. So you're flexing your core forward. You're not bending at the hips. I'm trying to bend my shoulder to my hips closer together, and that's what it does, and it helps stabilize your torso as well, and does contribute to some sideways turning motion. So my personal approach to this training is that like I mentioned, I want to hit it 2 to 3 times per week. I have my regular workout regimen, and then I hit them additionally after my workout. So my typical ab routine will consist of 1 to 3 exercises per day, 2 to 3 times per week. And generally I like to start off with a heavier movement, working between the 8 to 12 rep range, and this will be more of a crunch. So one of my favorites are the cable crunch, the weighted decline crunch, and those movements are easily able to be overloaded, so you can add weight to those exercises. And then next I like to work on more of a movement where I can focus on the movement of my hips. So an exercise that I'm a huge fan of is the hanging leg raise. It has a really high EMG activation for overall core work, and it does include your oblique muscles as well. So here I'll try and hit something closer to 10 to 20 reps. And the only hard thing about this one is that once that becomes easy, it's harder to load it. So what you can do is actually slow down the tempo or you can put weight between your legs and lift them up that way. And lastly, I like to do something where I hit an isometric contraction, and that is just when your muscles are contracting but not moving. So something like the plank. To make this a little bit harder and a little bit more effective, there is a long lever plank which had a higher EMG activation as well in the abs. So that is just when you're doing a plank, except your elbows are a little bit in front of your body. So that is my main routine that I personally like a lot. It's been working really well for me, and I'm just going to continue to run that, switch up the rep ranges throughout, and try and progressively overload. Also, with that said, depending if you're on a bulk or if you're on a cut, you're going to be doing two different things. So if you're bulking, you're going to want to continue to try progressive overload and try and build up that core. Everyone has ab muscles, but you might have to build them up to make them more blocky or more 3D to stick out more. So you want to continue to progressive overload, continue to get them bigger and bigger. So when you cut down the fat, they'll actually stick out. You can see more lines. The lines are a lot deeper. When you're cutting, you might have to tone back your volume to ensure that you are recovering. Doing too much, you're gonna risk overtraining, risk injury, that type of thing. But doing more abs doesn't mean you're gonna get more cut. You can't target fat around your abs. An example is you're not gonna see someone who's obese who has a shredded six-pack. Just keep your regimen pretty much the same. Just tone back volume where you have to. And lastly, I'm gonna touch on two myths that I hear about abs a lot. And the first one is that compound movements will work your abs more than direct ab work. That is not true. That is not the case. If you look at EMG data, you can see the activation in abs is a lot higher during the basic crunch than it is through a deadlift or it is through a squat. So you're not actually working your ab muscles significantly to cause muscle hypertrophy just by doing the compounds. Yes, you're gonna work on stabilization, you're gonna work on your core, balance, other things like that, but you're not gonna directly work them most effectively and optimally through muscle hypertrophy just by doing squats and deadlifts and overhead press and standing movements like that. With that said, they can help, but to work them most effectively, you do want to target them directly. So some weird other things that I see is people standing on stability balls or Bosu balls or standing on one leg. Those won't directly work your core either. Looking at the EMG data, you guys can see that as well. So make sure you directly work your core if you want to work it. If you're cutting, like I said already, you're not going to target your ab fat or your stomach fat, sorry, directly and cut it down. You have to just improve your overall body composition, keep cutting weight, and eventually the fat's going to disappear. And lastly, those big movements and ab training aren't going to make your waist blocky. So the only thing that you can make bigger is the actual muscle, but your whole waist is going to get a lot blockier. People think that you can't get an aesthetic look with a small V taper, or you're just going to look like a rectangle. You're going to lose your V taper. So you don't have to be scared of that. You're not going to get super bulky or super blocky by training abs or by doing those big movements. You can check out myself. Like, I love to go heavy. You guys can see that through my other videos, and then you can see how much my waist shrinks with the ab training, with the compound movement. So I went into a little bit more depth. I hope you guys got a little bit more insight on that and my personal ab training. I can actually make a full updated ab video, ab training video. If you guys like, please let me know in the comment section below. If you guys want to get featured on a future Fat Friday video, all you have to do is comment it in the comment section below. Hashtag #AskPattyLifts. It just helps me a lot more when I'm looking through all the comments to see which questions that I can choose for future videos. And other than that, I really appreciate the love with this new series. I love spreading all the knowledge and low-key sending out some positive vibes, and stay strong during the holidays because you won't regret it. You can have that balance. And guys, I'll see you guys next week at the next episode of Fat Friday. Subscribe if you're not part of the team. More lit content coming. Like the video if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Kind of messed up that sequence, but I'll see you guys in the next one. I don't know what this is, but it's like a broken dab.